everyone, it's Akansha Dimri, the founder and editor-in-chief of Tech Funding News. We cover startups, innovations and investment, and today we are at a very special location, that is the Old Royal Naval College in London. What are we doing here? Well, we're covering Midnight Summit.
So at the Midnight Foundation, we care about building great community, ecosystem, and we need developers, partners, ambassadors to do so. But the mission behind it all is to bring rational privacy to not only the Midnight Network and Midnight developers, but also to all of blockchain. We encourage, whether you're building on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, you don't have to leave your ecosystem behind to utilize our special programmable privacy. And we want more people to come. And that's the goal of the foundation.
The Midnight Summit is uniquely timed to be near the end of our second phase of our drop. So we did a glacier drop claim period where we had 170,000 claimants. Now we're into the scavenger mine where we've had about 10 million people participate in the scavenger mine. And what we're going to do shortly is we're going to launch the token in the beginning part of December. So this is a key moment for the foundation to get the technology out and start the actual mainnet rolling going forward. What I would like people to know and learn about the Midnight Foundation is we very much like to work with others. We understand we have a good engineering team in Shielded, and they have core capabilities, but there are many others that have many other ideas that can both augment, enhance, and bring us into the future. So one of my main roles is working with those partners to figure out what is it that you need, what is it that we can provide, and how can I even matchmake you with other partners where you can have a kind of a 1 + 1 = 3 type interaction. So as I mentioned, these like healthcare records with AI bots, we do introductions of those two teams, and it turns out, wow, now we have a new capability that Midnight is supporting, and the foundation is the matchmaker in a way, right? Bringing people to a table, and then they can do their business, and we'll be as helpful as we can be, but get out of the way, as they progress and turn this into a real operation. So what people can learn from these events is we're here, we're open, we're going to be ready for business very shortly, and please come test out the technology and let us know what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to see.
This is the largest airdrop that's ever taken place in crypto. And you see that you're really bringing people together by giving them this receipt that they can then redeem and use in a real ecosystem. And I think Midnight's USP, which is bringing privacy and private smart contracts to the crypto space, is incredible.
We're now in an era where privacy is absolutely essential. So DIDs, identity, and privacy, they're both absolutely essential for the rest of the world to come online. So where were we at? We're at a space where degens and early adopters were able to adopt our technology. But now we're at a space where to get institutions on board and new types of retail on board, we have to level up the system to create privacy and selective disclosure to create more regulated products in the market where you can selectively disclose the type of regulation that you want to be held to. And so that's where we're at. We're at a maturity.
It's actually my first time at Midnight Summit. Definitely always really good to see different ecosystems and to touch on important topics. There's a lot of conversations around tokenized deposit tokenized, whatever term is being used, but that is also a reflection of actually stable coins. It's basically how do we bring fiat in a tokenized way to enable better, faster payment. One company in particular that I follow a lot because I'm really amazed at what they do when it comes to payments and stablecoin is Stripe. And I think Stripe is a very good example to look at in terms of how to bring the next infrastructure for payment for digital commerce online using blockchain and in particular stablecoins.
As we know, stablecoin market is getting big. We just passed $300 billion, but liquidity isn't perfect, right? And so having access to not only the local rails to move money in real time, but also to, within those specific markets, but also the ability to trade off-chain and to get into different currencies where we can get to the depth of liquidity we need is really key to the solution we're building. I think if you look at the ecosystem, we've heard the rumors of large acquisitions happening over the last couple of weeks. These are still relatively small organizations, right? When you look at the revenue, 30, 40, $50 million revenue companies. And so I think because there still are a lot of challenges and the market is still not that developed, we have a lot of work to do as an ecosystem and as a community to build in this space. The biggest thing I would like to see is consistency in the way the banking infrastructure accepts and supports and works within the stablecoin ecosystem. Obviously, today stablecoins are largely dominated by 2 large stablecoins, but I would love to see the kind of proliferation of that into other currencies, more local depth of liquidity. And I think a lot of that only happens when the banking rails start to become unlocked. Now, I know that's a little bit of a catch-22 because they have a lot to lose in this whole ecosystem. And so I think, that's the piece that we all have to come together and solve.
I was fortunate enough to meet the CTO of Midnight Foundation this morning. So I was very happy to have a chat with them to learn more about what they're planning on building and what have that accomplished so far. I'm very excited about the private computation that Midnight is building on, and excited to build a bunch of interesting things with Midnight, include integration of the private connectivity and the private computation. Spacecoin and Midnight will be a very interesting combination, I think.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because I'm focused on what Midnight can do and what it can open up. Currently though, in the market, it's challenging. The markets are challenging, the environment's challenging, but challenges bring out new participants, new builders, and it takes courage, curiosity to keep pushing through these challenges. So I encourage everybody to be optimistic while they face these challenges, because ultimately if you're building something you believe in, doesn't matter whether you're building on Midnight or other blockchains, you've got to get the courage to push through.